This is a story of Big and Easy Lemonade and how we took this idea, turned it into this, sold 100,000 cups in our first year, and grew into 8 locations in Puerto, Princesa, Palawan, and Iloilo City in just 3 years. Keep watching to learn how we did it.
So a lot of people are asking us what motivated you to start a business in the Philippines at all. So we want to show you how we managed to do it and how did we build a successful business as a foreigner and a Filipino with some business background, right, Bibbs?
So I had my first business before. It was a computer shop, well, a PlayStation shop. And so I had a little bit of background doing business. So it wasn't really my idea to start a business. So what was
it was
your,
my idea.
Yeah.
So my motivation, I don't like being too idle. I need a lot of downtime, but I do like to stay challenged, challenged in life. So when Bea and I decided that we were going to have a life together, that just seemed a normal step to me. Let's start a business so we could enjoy other things in life and also as a safety net for her because we do have an age gap. I'm a little older, and if natural time takes its path, I'll be checking out before she does. Even though you don't like me to ever say that. But, so that was really the motivation behind it, was for something for us to do and build together, and a safety net for Bea. After we decided to start a business, the next step was, what could we do? And our initial choice was to possibly franchise an existing business. And at the time, in 2015, we were living in Malolos, and there was a Robinson's Mall there. And I noticed this shawarma shop, kiosk called Persian Avenue. And Persian Avenue always had a line in front of it. It was a new kiosk, I think, at that time. They had not long opened. But there wasn't always a line from the time the mall opened till the night. They were selling those shawarma wraps. And if you can imagine that big rack of lamb, they would start out in the morning.
It's beef though.
It was beef?
Yeah.
No, I think it's lamb. It's Mediterranean. It's lamb because it's too tender. They had the big rack of lamb. They would cut that thing down to the metal spike by the end of the night. And that was their last sale. They were literally scrapping it up to get that last product out to a customer. And I thought, wow, this might be a great business opportunity. But when we investigated the company, they slammed the door on us, deny, family-owned business, not franchising. So
to answer the question, we didn't think about lemonade at first. We were thinking of other things.
Yeah, we went through that progression. So I told Bea, I said, hey, don't worry, we'll just develop our own concept and just circumvent having to deal with franchising. So I started studying the place. I'd go to the mall and hang around that kiosk, kind of hiding because I didn't want them to see I was really stalking them all day. And there were times I'd bring Bea over there and I'd be like, just stand around the kiosk so I could take some pictures.
We would pretend
that I was taking a picture of her, but I was really aim it at the kiosk to see what their ingredients were, to film their process. So I was doing this, and even the workers, started mean mugging me because I think they knew what I was up to. When I started crunching the numbers, I realized that particular business and that inventory could be risky because you're dealing with perishable ingredients like the lettuce, the tomato, onions. I started researching where to even buy those big racks. I couldn't find that. It was looking like maybe the shawarma was kind of a big task to take.
All right, so after the wedding, we don't have anything to do and I can't just sit still, so I decided to take on a baking class, not knowing that that's gonna be a vital aspect of developing our recipe. So it was fun, to learn a new skill. But Steve got fat, like maybe 10 pounds heavier, 15 pounds heavier.
Yeah.
So
that was the beginning of my weight gain in the Philippines, because when I got here, I was 6% body fat, and my body could not handle the type of fatty foods and all of these
sugar,
cakes and stuff she was bringing
carbs
home.
And all that.
But I enjoyed it. It was an enjoyable time. It was nice that your wife brought, treats home every evening that she came back from her class.
If you find our content to be interesting or helpful, please subscribe, like, share this video, and don't forget to leave your comments down below if you have any questions. So hit that like and subscribe button.
There was no lemonade place in the mall. There was a kiosk that had juice products, but it was almost like just making powdered lemonade or something. But they had other items. It wasn't a specific lemonade business. So we saw that opportunity from our aspects, like, okay, there's an opening here, let's take it. Initially, they were like, well, we don't know if we need another beverage kiosk at this point. And they made some suggestions for us. And one of the suggestions was a Mr. Quickie.
Yeah.
Mr. Quickie. It's not what you think. And I was like, I am not going to name something Mr. Quickie and I'm like the face of this business, Mr. Quickie. And I think they might have even asked Mr. Softy. Mr. Softy.
And it's not what you think.
Yeah, that's not what you think either. So I'm like, no to Mr. Quickie, no to Mr. Softy. Let's look for something else. So we presented that idea to them. And initially they said, well, there's no room. So we just...
So that's a red light.
Yeah, that was a red light. Next we had a green light.
All right, so after maybe a few days or weeks, the leasing manager called us and says, hey, we're rearranging some of the spaces and we got a spot for you. So, we went and they showed us a location which is, we both think that it was perfect because it was just right in front of a throughway going to the food court and the theater. So we were like, okay, we're sold on that one. So that's our green light right there.
So we had the green light. There was an initial red light in there too. Well, the initial green light, they wanted to put us in a very low traffic area in the mall, and I refused. I'm like, we're not putting a business there because we already knew that mall. We were over there a lot, and
so this would be the mall games.
Yeah, this is under mall games. These are the type of games the mall plays with you. They will try to put you in places that aren't that populated, just to see if you take a bite.
Yes, so
And, yeah.
don't take the first offer.
Yeah, never take the first offer. So we rejected that. So that was a green light for them, red light for us. And then eventually we had the
So
green light.
that's when they said, new spaces have become available.
Yeah.
So, just a little tip, don't just grab the first offer.
If you're dealing with malls, it's a very different ecosystem of business here in the Philippines. I'm like, okay, we're on a roll, right? Wrong. So the next thing is, where are we gonna buy these lemons? And in the Philippines, there are multiple places you can buy fresh everything. Because these little markets are also supplying restaurants and other things, restaurants, stores. They're all buying from these same markets. So when we started looking for a place to buy lemons, and granted, we did not know, I think our first day we started out with one box of lemons. And one box of lemons is 120 in a box. So we're thinking, okay, this is gonna last us a couple of days or whatever. And so we managed to kind of find that. But sometimes we're going and they were like, well, we don't have lemons now, come back tomorrow. Things were literally coming in on a boat. So, they'd say come back Thursday. I remember one time we waited, we came back, they said they had lemons, they opened a box, it was onions. So we could still buy lemons from the grocery stores, but our profit margin dropped. We still made a profit, but from buying them by the box, the profit was great for our business. So we realized that.
Yeah, even cups, we're running out of cups.
Yeah.
So we had to really source it from Manila to, even when building the kiosk, we need to call on Cebu for tempered glass.
Yeah, they didn't have tempered glass in Puerto Princesa. You go to those hardware stores and the tiles they had available were inconsistent. We were never able to, once we started expanding, we were never able to keep the same look for different regulations, or they didn't have this tile anymore. So it was very hard to tap into resources. Even things like our cups we were preparing the lemonade into, because that smasher would bust up cups after a while, even the very thick ones. And you go back, you find some good cups that work. Oh, great, you buy them up, you go back for more. They don't have those anymore. So the resources on an island are very, very challenging. And I don't even know what we would have done if it was the shawarma, trying to get that stuff in there. So, the resources presented challenges constantly until we moved to this city, Iloilo. It was a bigger city. We never had issues with lemon supply or cups or anything.
That's the reality.
Yeah, the reality.
Of resources when you live in an island.
We
tucked away.
Yeah, we were always changing because sometimes we'd have to change the mode of our equipment and delivery because the ones we got used to weren't available anymore.
Now we need to build the perfect team. So we had 2 girls that we hired from vetting them, and it was time to train them. So we trained them in our house and trained them how to use the smasher and be very careful with it because your hands are gonna get caught in it.
Oh yeah.
It's dangerous. And we have these 2 tiny girls because the kiosk actually is a 2 meters by 2 meters size, but then you still have the counters on both sides and on the other side. So there's really a small space to move around. When you face Here, you're facing front. When you just turn around, you're at the back counter already. So we require as much as possible to have smaller girls.
There's no equal opportunity. You can only hire women if you want, and the women worked out great for us.
I would say preferably female.
We had our template of what our workers should look like. Small, ability to still reach things. We found the perfect 2 girls to start because I think that we could have had some early disasters had we not had those girls. They were really good.